This is a spicy class. I've been married to my favorite dentist for 35 years, and a fun fact about us that I don't ever tell, except for in this class, is that we've had sex approximately 6,500 times. And I can totally help you with the math for you and your husband. It's kind of funny figuring out the math on that. Yeah, it's kind of a weird obsession. We have 11 kids and 12 grandbabies, and I'm the author of Drops of Pleasure, which is a fun little book about why you should have lots of sex with your husband. So let me compare sex to dinner time. If your family expected a three-course meal complete with china and a tablecloth, every single time you every time you ate dinner, you would say, y'all are going to starve. Like, sorry, you're going to starve to death. But some of you are unknowingly putting that same pressure on your sex life. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to do it. You'll have those special three-course nights that involve a hot shower, lingerie, and the perfect music. But ladies, if you think every single time you have sex, it's supposed to be like that, like a three-course meal, you're probably starving your husband to death, okay, sexually. All you really need is him and a willing heart and some privacy to make it happen, okay? So let's get rid of our unattainable expectations. Only about 20% of women are actually enjoying an orgasm, which is really, really sad. I think that might be because they're expecting something from their bodies that actually won't happen unless the mind and ability are able to surrender and trust their husbands. Our bodies are not machines to plug something into to get a result. A lot of people have that misconception. We're not machines and we just can't make it happen like that. Um, Tonight, let's see, let me go over this. This slide is out of order. That is okay. I'm going to read it anyway. Emotional pain around intimacy is common but not normal. Our bodies are not machines to plug something into and expect a result. You can screenshot this slide because it's important. Um, Let's clean that up before we start. Sex is designed to unite a husband and wife emotionally and physically. Oh my goodness. Excuse my typos. The enemy attacks intimacy because it is a gift from God to unify a husband and a wife. What will be covered tonight? Benefits of having a lot of sex. Sorry, let me let people in the waiting room admit all. Admit. Okay. How causes for a low sex drive, how to boost desire hormonally, clean lubricants, and how to set the mood. Once again, if the evil one disrupts a couple's sexual relationship, then he has an open door to their entire relationship, which will infect their entire family. Um, Having sex with your husband is one of the most important things you'll do with him. If the evil one can disrupt that intimate relationship, it's a door to destruction. Connecting with your spouse physically and emotionally is a spiritual act designed by God. Your bed is holy ground, and it's a sacred place for you and your husband to physically become one. It's emotionally healing, and it's God's design. And it's not to be used as a weapon, ladies, or a reward. Unfortunately, that happens a lot. We withhold when we're mad and we reward when we think they're good. But scripture tells us that we are to behave differently. And we're going to talk about that tonight. We should be coming together as one because we are one in God's eyes as husband and wife. Sometimes you'll both be engaged, and other times you may just let your husband enjoy your body. And that's okay, okay? It's okay. Your chances are your husband's going to feel like it more than you. But before we get into how to boost those love hormones, I need to address a few things. Let me see. I'm going to go ahead and put this slide up here. As I've said, sex is so much more than a physical act. If you're not engaged emotionally, you're probably not having an orgasm, which stinks. If we're saying, have lots of sex because it's super healthy for you emotionally and physically, but you're not having the benefit of an orgasm, you're like, I really don't want to have sex. It's not fun, and it maybe even hurts. Because when you are stirring up those hormones, it's like an analgesic, which is so cool. Um, it it makes it easier. There are physical benefits to having lots of sex, and it's an analgesic. It improves immunity. It wards off prostate cancer. It can help your husband live longer. Strengthens the heart muscle because it's exercise. Having sex 3 to 4 times a week reduces the chance of stroke by 50%. It tones the tush and tummy and boosts longevity. It reduces stress and mental anguish. Isn't that cool? I mean, only God, only a creator could do that, right? Um, okay, let's see. There are emotional benefits too. Where's my emotional benefits slide? Hold on, let me let more people in. Oh, there it is. That was already up. Sorry, guys. I need someone else doing my slides while I talk because I'm not looking at my slides. The emotional sides are benefits are oxytocin floods your body, which makes you feel great and more willing to forgive him. That's important because every single day, little things happen in our marriages and in our lives that we need to forgive each other for. And sex helps that. It makes you softer towards your husband. It acts as an emotional and hormonal reset, and it breaks down those emotional walls. Most people have emotional hurts around sex because the evil one attacks hard in this area because he knows how powerful it can be in a marriage. And if this is you, you're not alone. You're not alone. If someone has stolen from you physically in the past, you can take back that ground. You did not willingly give them the truest, deepest part of who you are, which is your soul and your spirit. Sex is not just a physical act, but it involves the body, soul, and spirit. The three cannot be separated. You can give your husband all of you. If somebody has taken part of you physically, they didn't get all of you. And know that. That is healing, understanding that. If you're trying to protect your soul and your emotions because of what happened to you in the past, you will not fully present yourself to your husband. Keeping those walls up does not actually protect you, it hurts you. Be willing to be fully known by your husband. It is very vulnerable. It's scary. It's raw. You're not just standing there before him, just physically, but you're standing there emotionally, and it will take your marriage to a new level. His confidence in who he is as a man will go up when you give your full self to him. He will present himself to the world with more confidence. In turn, he could possibly get a better job, and because he's having better job performance, which could lead to promotions. You will see a chain reaction in your life and your husband's life when you get healing in this area of sex with your husband. It is very healing, and all of these things can start in the bedroom. So if you have emotional blocks when it comes to letting your husband in emotionally, use the essential oil Angelica, white Angelica. It's absolutely one of my favorites, and I can't explain all of the reasons some of these oils work in the weird releasing ways that they do, but God um, is the one who had the idea for essential oils. They were his idea, not man's. And so we just trust the process, right? So white angelica is something that we actually keep on our nightstands, and I carry it around in my purse because I love it so much. It helps you pull down those walls and get protection, feel protection. The oils don't protect us. Jesus protects us, but we use those oils because he says to. So, if your blocks are from sexual trauma or abuse, use the essential oil Sarah. It was formulated to release those trauma walls. Highest Potential, which is another phenomenal smelling oil, can help you and your husband reach your highest potential together as a couple. Sex is vulnerable, but giving yourself to your husband in this way will it will take you to new levels in your relationship. Okay, moving on. Okay. Anything worth having always takes work. Anything worth having takes making it a priority. It's worth making lifestyle changes. You can put in the comments, raise your hand or whatever. Who's too tired a lot of time to have sex? Like by the time we get in bed, we're just like exhausted, But it's worth fighting for, it's worth planning for. Since we cannot separate the body, soul, and spirit, if we abuse our body in unintentionally, it will affect us and our marriages. So we can't treat our body like trash and eat trash food and expect to have a healthy sex life. So a poor diet, a diet lacking in essential nutrients leads to lack of energy and brain fog. If your diet consists mostly of fake or processed foods and sugar, your sex drive will be low. Poor diet, fake food, processed food, sugar, junk food, they all wreck the hormones and lead to exhaustion and brain fog. It's impossible to be at the top of your game, and it's impossible to feel sexy if you're full of junk and you're bloated and you have gas and you're carrying extra, weight because of those poor habits. If you need a reset, you're like, I do have bad habits. I do want to improve overall. I want a better sex life, and I know it needs to start with me and my diet. And you're not sure where to start. If that's you, you're not sure where to start. I personally recommend the 14-day reset. It's the easiest program I have found with the clearest instructions. It's an easy button, simple steps, and in 14 days, you will feel the difference. Poor sleep habits. Sleep is crucial to regulating hormones and weight. A sleep-deprived person is not a healthy, happy person. What happens when you're mad at your spouse, stressed out, and with work or money? You can't sleep, right? If you have too much going on in your head, we don't sleep. This causes a domino effect in your body and emotions that will affect your hormones and your sex life. So set regular sleep patterns for the sake of your intimate life with your spouse. If you're like, okay, I don't know how to do that. Like, how do you sleep? Not sure how to sleep. I have a sleep problem. I have a sleep class. I took a deep dive into how to sleep and learned so much. I thought before I started studying to write that class, I thought, well, don't we just get off screens and turn off lights and don't drink caffeine, 6 hours before sleep? There is more to it than that. So if you need help with sleep, I have a sleep class recorded. Untamed thoughts. If you have undisciplined, complaining thoughts about your spouse, don't expect to have a great love life. If you're mad at him because he either wants sex too much or doesn't want it enough, you're going to have to break your thought cycle with intention. You're going to have to break your thought cycle in order to get a different result. Resentment is a common emotion among women, and typically resentment is built up around the little annoyances, not the big ones, not the big offenses, but the little things that add up. We just take them personally. Can be easily annoyed, and it builds up and causes sex problems. So, if this is you, get the release oil or the forgiveness oil and use them prayerfully and just smell them throughout the day. Smell them when you're journaling, smell them when you're having, your quiet time, whatever you do. And as you're smelling your oils, choose thoughts towards your husband that will that are true of the man that you believed you were marrying. Sometimes we think, I thought I was marrying someone else, and that's not who you are. You don't act like the person I thought I was marrying. Well, treat him like the man you thought that he was going to be, and that you believe that he can be, and he will become that. So ponder all the reasons you are blessed to have him as a spouse. Think about those things, and then start to verbalize them. You cannot verbalize those things to your husband until you are thinking about them. I promise you that you will then begin to tingle inside and get those butterflies concerning your spouse again. It starts with your thoughts. Marriages go through cycles. Okay, so if you think, well, mine is lost, mine is too far gone. I don't know, it's just not there anymore. I don't think it's ever coming back. Please understand that marriages have cycles, just like the earth has seasons, um, relationships have cycles and our marriages have cycles. And you will get to a point in when your sex drive is not matched and you need to put effort to rekindle it. That it's okay if you don't have that kindling right now. You can get it back. It just means that you're a normal human with normal feelings and normal thoughts. And now it's time to make some intention so that you can have the marriage that you dreamed of. Um, when you feel like you have fallen out of love, it means no, it does not mean you've fallen out of love. We don't stay married because we're in love. We stay married, those of us who are Christians, because we vowed to God till death do us part, right? God gave us instruction for when we don't want to have sex with our husband. He gave us instructions. And a lot of women want to throw rotten fruit at me, when I talk about this. It's okay. Do not withhold except for mutual consent for prayer and fasting. Let him enjoy your body when your legs aren't shaved and when you don't feel ready. I promise he doesn't care. He doesn't care if you feel fat. He thinks you're beautiful. If you have hairy legs, he's not looking at the hair on your legs, okay? Well, that's not what he's worried about. So, yeah, so many times and I wrote this class from my own experiences and everything that I'm saying like this, I'm guilty of. Like, I have totally withheld from my husband because I didn't feel like it, or my legs were hairy, or I wasn't in the mood. And the Holy Spirit just convicted me like, that those aren't the instructions I gave you. And if you really want a wonderful marriage and all my blessings, follow my instructions. Like, I have instructions for you, child. So I'm very thankful for those instructions. Okay. Now the other thing that can make you not want to have sex are xenoestrogens. This is a big one. Xenoestrogens are fake hormones. They confuse your natural hormone cycle. These synthetic hormones cause cancer. They are foreign, unnatural, and disruptive. You can find xenoestrogens in makeup, lotions, perfumes, bath bombs, air fresheners, dryer sheets, fragrances, and so much more. These fake estrogens cause acne, PCOS, endometriosis, estrogen dominant cancer, and just overall wacky hormones. So get them out of your life because they're affecting your sex life and your overall health. They're affecting you. And don't think that anyone is exempt. You buy that trash, it will affect your life. And ladies, moms of daughters, please hear me. Protect your daughters. Get your young girls off to a good start by providing as much of a toxic-free home environment as you can. We can have a beautiful smelling homes without that trash. God has given us oils and flowers and beautiful things. So it's not kind or loving to buy little girls colorful makeup palettes or bath bombs filled with dye and fragrance that will eventually build up as toxins in them and affect them later as women and wives. So think about your daughter's futures also. Okay, moving on to you can enhance your sex life with Young Living essential oils. This is so fun. I love this and I'm so thankful for this. But because before we had Young Living in our home, my husband and I would buy nasty lubricants. I mean, like we didn't know. We had no idea what we were doing. We are just like, okay, so like I think we need a lubricant, right? Everybody does this, right? Okay, so wow, okay, that's got this weird name and it's supposed to be hot and it's got this sticky dye and like nasty. Okay, so don't do that. Ugh. And because of all of that isn't the way we use oils and sex is internal. And so we don't want to put dyes and those toxins internally. We want to use authentic essential oils. Okay, so let's talk about the different types of oils. Fatty oils will serve both as a lubricant and a carrier for essential oils. Essential oils are absorbed quickly into the skin, therefore cannot be used as a lubricant. But you want them to be a part of your intimate life with your spouse because essential oils can do so many things to enhance your sex life. Essential oils can get you in the mood and help stimulate your hormones, and just support it. But it's the fatty oil like coconut oil or V6 oil or olive oil, any type of fatty oil that has a fat or molecule that's going to sit on top of your skin to hold the essential oil there. If you just put essential oil, anywhere on your body, it's going to disappear. It's not going to sit there. It's going to go into your bloodstream and it's within 3 seconds. And then it's going to travel and touch every single cell in your body within 20 minutes. So it's really awesome and cool. And when you're using essential oils in your sex life, you're supporting your overall wellness, which is an extra bonus there. Um, but just understand that you want essential oils to use for sex, but you need a fatty oil and you can make up your own. But Young Living also has some that I'm going to show you at the end. Okay, why Young Living? I do not want you to go to the store and purchase any name brand essential oil ever, ever, ever. Okay, because Young Living is set apart. They have a seed to seal quality and promise that no other company in the world has. Their standard is higher than organic. They never spray pesticides on their plants. They hand weed, hand pick at peak times for each particular plant. And this is important for the plant to yield its highest frequency. Its frequency is what happens. It's what supports the hormones and healthy body. But oils sold at the grocery store and health food stores, even if they say 100%
Mm.
organic, there's a possibility, and it's likely, that 90% of the oil in that bottle is a synthetic odorless filler, which who knows? Where it's from and what it is. And then also the essential oil, like not just anybody can make an essential oil. It takes hundreds and many times thousands of pounds of plant to make a tiny bit of essential oil. So essential oils are serious business. They're super concentrated and they're super supportive to our wellness when we have an authentic essential oil. Okay. Now let's move on to the fun part. While there are many hormones in the body, the three main ones you are familiar with are estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Estrogen is the happy hormone. It's the one that makes you feel pretty. It's the youth hormone that gives your cheeks that pink, smooth skin. When your estrogen decreases with age, skin pales and you begin to get wrinkly and droopy skin. Um, Not fun, of course. But there are other causes such as gravity and lifestyle and genetics. But estrogen is one of the causes, low estrogen is one of those causes that causes wrinkles. So low estrogen levels can be tragic and can also make you dry. And when you are vaginally dry, you don't want to have sex. It can even be painful. So, depending on your age and your time of the month and all these different, I mean, we're women, we've got our cycles, like God has put everything living on a cycle. Everything has a cycle. And so when you feel blah, dull, low, dry, check your estrogen, okay? You can bring it up. As if you're over 40, you definitely want to check your estrogen and you can bring it up with sclerescence. For ladies with periods, you want your sclerescence. If you're in the childbearing years, it's beautiful. Use clary sage. Um, if you are pregnant, don't use clary sage until you're ready to go into labor. But clary sage is great for menopausal women also. It doesn't increase estrogen in a scary way. Like, people will say, well, I had estrogen dominant cancer. It's not going to do that type of estrogen. This is a natural estrogen. But women who take synthetic estrogen hormone therapy have higher rates of estrogen caused diseases like breast cancer. So studies have shown that synthetic estrogen and progesterone are linked to high disease rates as a side effect. So using plant compounds such as progesterone plus and phytoestrogens in clary sage do not increase the risks of the scary side effects. So you can rest assured. And I learned all this from Dr. Purser and his book on hormones and meeting with him personally. So he is actually the creator of our supplement Progessence Plus, which I'll talk more about in just a second. Okay, Endoflex. Endoflex is a blend that supports your endocrine system from the pituitary gland to the thyroid, but it supports the entire system. If your thyroid and pituitary gland don't function, you don't feel good, you don't have energy, and you cannot have sex hormones. So Endoflex can be used in conjunction with medication. So if you don't have a thyroid, um, and you're taking thyroid medication, you can use Endoflex. It doesn't, I mean, you ask your doctor, we are to always say, take your oils to your doctor and make sure that they don't cross affect anything or look it up in the desk reference. But this one is safe. So a hyperthyroid is an over active thyroid, like a toddler running around, and that thyroid also needs support. So Endoflex helps both thyroid, low thyroid, hypo, slow, tired, sluggish, and hyper, um, crazy. So if in my home, if any of my kids are acting a little bit crazy or hormonal, I will have them rub Endoflex on because it seems to balance their hormones pretty quickly. Okay, Thyromin. I love this one so much. And I feel like probably every single woman on the earth needs to be on this supplement. This one supports the thyroid clearly because it's called Thyromin. The pituitary, it also supports the pituitary through the thyroid. Approximately 40% of Americans suffer from hypothyroidism. It's a condition, its condition causes numerous symptoms, including low sex drive, dry skin, mood swings, and it's a recipe for a bad sex life. And once again, if you're on thyroid medicine, you can take this. If you don't have a thyroid, you can take this. This is food for the thyroid. Of course, if you're on thyroid medicine, ask your doctor, take it to him and say, what do you think? This is food for the thyroid. So we want to get our thyroids healthy so that they're functioning on their own and so that our body's not just dependent on medication. And that's what Thyromin does. It feeds the thyroid the food that it needs to function properly. You're not going to have a good sex life if your thyroid's not working. So, okay, Cortistop. Cortistop is not an everyday supplement. It is a sometimes supplement. It's a, oh my goodness, things are crazy and I can't handle it. Okay. Cortisol eats other hormones. So I want you to think of cortisol as the big bear that comes into the room like, and when that big bear comes into the room hollering at everybody, all the other hormones like estrogen and testosterone and all of them run to the back and hide. When cortisol is present, it's present in all the other ones, it's present up front because it's loud. It's the stress hormone. It helps us lift a car when we need to lift a car. It helps us out in emergencies. But if it's present too much, too long, we won't feel good because we need the other hormones to balance the way we feel. God's given us all the hormones. He gave us cortisol. Some people will call cortisol the death hormone because it's the stress hormone, and too much stress, leads to so many different diseases. No, God gave us cortisol and we need cortisol. It should be highest in the morning when we wake up, but it should be tapering off. If your cortisol is high before you go to bed, you're not going to sleep. If it's high all day, your hair is going to start falling out. So if you're in a really stressful season, you might need cortistop, stopping the cortisol. So just know that it's not something to stay on. You need to balance your hormones, okay? PD 80/20. PD 80/20 is 80% pregnenolone and 20% DHEA. DHEA maintains proper levels of estrogen and testosterone, especially as levels naturally decline with age. Since DHEA contributes to the production of sex hormones, it can help sustain energy levels, stamina, and endurance. It plays a role in reducing fatigue and overall vitality. So if you're like, I just need to feel better now. Or, if you're struggling with hormonal migraines that are keeping you from wanting to have sex, then, look at PD 80/20. It's a great product. Okay, Progessence Plus. This is the one that I mentioned a few minutes ago that Dr. Purser formulated. He's a hormone specialist in Utah, and it is a bioidentical hormone, and there's nothing synthetic in it. It's made from wild yams and frankincense. It has cedarwood and peppermint. It has been known to help people with migraines and PMS and overall symptoms. I use it a lot on my face. So Young Living sells it as a beauty serum. We all need progesterone. You cannot have too much progesterone. Um, I got on a Zoom call with Dr. Purser and he taught me about this. Okay, so you cannot have too much progesterone. It's just will make you sleepy if you have too much, but not having enough can raise your risks of cancer like by 1,000%. So you need to make sure that you're having enough progesterone. And Progessence Plus is a wonderful way to do that. So if you find that you're like not in the mood because you're having headaches or PMS, it's such an easy button. It's back in stock right now. It's all the rage in my house. We don't run out of it. Every single one of my daughters carries a bottle around because they love it so much. And I know that Mary Young uses it on her face and she looks fantastic. We all want to look like her when we grow up. Okay, Femigen. Femigen is a wonderful product. It's herbs and oils, and it supplements natural hormones. Hormonal birth control wreaks havoc on your hormones. So pills like the pill and those types of they disrupt the hormones and can open you up to all types of female cancers. So you don't want to do that. There are other ways to not get pregnant. Protect your breast, protect your uterus. But a Femigen can be taken to help. It's not birth control, but it is great for women 9 to 99. I don't know what the floating G is around here. I should really proofread my slides. But Femigen is going to just boost your estrogen and your progesterone, and you may take more at different times of the month, but it's safe. It's safe at all times. But there might be some times that you need more of it. So you'll just know according to how you feel. And if you break out acne like a teenager, you're taking too much. If you feel tired, you might need more. So, okay. Okay, we just did that one. Let's do calming nerves. Okay, some ladies get really nervous. It's interesting to me that, even though even though we're like married and some of us have had children with our husbands and we do life with them and, we've just done all these things with them, that sex still makes them nervous for whatever reason. Keep the lights off. Don't look at me naked. Not that, not this, like, because it's so vulnerable. Like we're naked. Like we were just as soon as sin entered the world, we became aware that, we're naked. And the only person who should see us naked is our husband, right? And so there's like only one person, ourselves and our husband, that should see us naked. Unless you're at the doctor and he needs to for some reason. And so there's that, like, it's private, it's secret, and like sometimes you're mad at him and you don't want to give him the privilege of seeing you naked. So, there's just a lot wrapped around in the whole act of even having sex. But so if your nerves are a problem, use White Angelica, highest potential, peace and calming. Peace and calming, I used to not like the way it smelled, but the oils change when they touch your body chemistry. And recently, my husband, I was like, you smell so good. Like, what the heck? What are you wearing? Oh my gosh, I've never smelled this on you, whatever it is. And he said, I'm wearing Peace and Calming. And he just found the Peace and Calming and started wearing it. And it smells like the most amazing, wonderful cologne that he's ever worn. So, yeah, that's cool. Stress away, grounding, lavender, frankincense. Frankincense and inner child are two of my calming oils. So when I'm feeling a little bit nervous, those are the two I read.